Good morning. I'll call the meeting to order at 9:03 a.m. And it looks like we do have quorum. We have 4 present. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from May's meeting?
I'll move to, we approve them.
I'll second.
Thank you. Anyone opposed, or I think we can just approve. So we'll move to approve the meeting minutes.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. So I know the third one on here is a legislative update on our agenda from Carson. So he'll be joining us at about 7 minutes, I think. So Carol, if you can let me know when he's here and we can shift over to that. But I will move into the treasurer's report. So I have just okay. So quickly, I wasn't at our meeting last month, and I know that we also didn't have quorum. So I'll just quickly review our kind of end of year financials here. I can share my screen. I can figure this out. Working. Extremely slow. I don't know. There we go. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Coming. Going very, very slow. Well, in May, we had an increase. That was our highest month so far with membership renewals and joins. So you'll see this soon. I don't know why it's okay.
No, it's there now.
With 4,000. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Lori. So we've got in May we had a revenue of $4,156, and in June $2,974 from membership. In June, we also had a workshop revenue that was from the workshop. I believe the workshop was maybe in May. Can't remember the exact dates for that, but that revenue came in as $1,396 in the month of June. So our total revenue for both of those months was about 4,000 per month each month, for a little over 4,000. So those were definitely our highest of the fiscal year to date. So we ended the year with $50,705 in revenue, and our expenses in May were also high as we had some legal expenses. Our lobbyist continues to be a regular expense, our admin assistant. We also had the election buddy expense in May for the election, and Neon and Zoom. Those are our standard expenses. So overall year to date, or kind of fiscal year, end of year, we were at a deficit of $8,452. So I do want to just point out, as we're kind of thinking about the end of the year numbers, the first 4 months of the fiscal year, we were in the red, or the first 5 months, I'm sorry. 4 of those 5 months, we were significantly overspending. So as you can see, the percentages there, 200% or higher to budget those first few months. So the main difference with those months and the months after were the salaries or contract fees that we were paying for the executive director and an accountant or an admin. So in those first 5 months, we had a deficit of $12,435. And from December through July 1st or June 30th of this year, a surplus of $3,973. So even though we still had an overall deficit, we definitely made some progress with reducing that.
Mm-hmm.
So that is that document. I'm going to stop that. Is there any questions or discussion around the May and June financial information? Okay.
Well,
So the next document.
You go ahead.
Yes, please.
No, I was going to say, as May makes
go
sense,
ahead, Larry.
because we had something like 35 new members in May, new or rejoined members in May. So that made a big difference.
Okay. Yep. That did make a big difference. Very good. Okay. I'm gonna try to pull up, I don't know why that's not coming, the budget here. Okay. So the next thing I would like to actually, I'm probably just for time's sake, since Carson will be coming on in a couple minutes, I'll wait to I just already shared it. I guess actually I'll let me see here. Where am I at? Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
This is okay. I'm sorry. I don't know why this is so incredibly slow. Okay, so I did send out a budget to board members, a tentative budget this year that today we can possibly later in this meeting
There it
vote
is.
to approve since we are great. Thank you. We're already a few weeks into the start of this fiscal year. So just briefly before Carson gets on, I'll just highlight a few things. The year-end information, I just kind of talked about it here in this table, the two far right columns, the previous year's budget. And this was the budget that was presented in August when we originally were discussing the budget last year. Didn't ever officially approve that. And then it also includes the last fiscal year's actuals, which I just reviewed, at least the total revenue and expenses I reviewed. So this budget is really modeled similar after that. I did increase the workshop budget to 12,000 just based on the last part of our fiscal year and the potential for increased workshops next fiscal year with our board. Other than that, the expenses are fairly consistent throughout in terms of our fees for the lobbyist is $20,040 for the year. Our fees for the admin assistant is about $6,000 for the year. Website about 300. Neon is about 3,078. Zoom is 120 for the year. MBCC and maintaining our ability to offer CEUs is 150. PO box and postage, I estimated 200. Membership refunds, we had about 800 last year. Estimated 500 this year. Check and bank fees 100. So those are just our kind of consistent, stable fees. You'll also see a line for legal fees just based on what we're currently experiencing. So that number would go up or down depending on how things are going. So that's estimated at 15,000. So this budget estimates membership to stay about the same, just a slight increase from last year. And this would put our total yearly expenses at 50, or our total income at 62,000 and our total expenses at 55,580, leaving a surplus of 6,412. So it gives us a little buffer room. We do have plans to do some strategic planning. So this could shift, hopefully, possibly increase revenue as well. Okay, I know we're at the time. Carol, is Carson here yet? Did I lose her? Yes.
Yes, he did just get here, Crystal.
Okay, so I will stop sharing and we can come back to that after his report. Hi, Carson.
Good
I'm
morning.
chairing. Chris is absent. So if you're ready, you can have the floor.
Sounds good. And I apologize. I think I'm losing my voice right now or got something going on. So apologize for the raspiness. But yeah, good morning. And wanted to provide a little bit of an update. I did share with Chris a FY25 DHHS and kind of mental health, behavioral health budget doc that I know if he hasn't already, will be sharing with the entire board. We're still awaiting the governor's official signature on that. So still a little bit of a holding pattern to figure out exactly what is all included in the budget. I got to wait for the governor's final signature on that, but he'll be sharing that with you all shortly. And then one of the things that I had talked about with Chris and others recently, and I'm not sure if Larry or Carol or Lori has talked about it yet, but there was legislation that passed last year that was around conversion therapy. And then I'm not sure if folks have seen, but there was a recent lawsuit on that. So we were talking about MHCA potentially issuing a statement or having a response to the lawsuit. And I know that there wanted to be a little bit of discussion on that. So I just wanted to put that on everyone's radar and see if now was a time to potentially, talk about if you've seen anything about it or heard anything on it or just initial general thoughts.
Yeah, Carson, thanks for bringing that up in the meeting yesterday. I've been looking at it a lot last night and then again this morning. So I'll be leading a little bit of a discussion to throw out some things to our members to be thinking about and to give us feedback on so that we can make a statement.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is just making sure, I mean, this is something that when I was looking at it, it specifically mentioned counseling in this article and the lawsuit. So anything that mentions counseling, the organization representing counselors across the state of Michigan should have a response or statement or kind of stance on what's going on that could potentially affect the profession.
Okay. Thank you.
Kristen, can I just ask you, when this was on the table, I do remember discussing it in prior meetings when it was in the legislature. Did we make a statement then? Or were there any statements in support?
I was looking back on that and I was wondering the same thing. I think we potentially talked about we had talked about putting in a card of support, but then something last minute came up that was I don't want to say a conflict, but there was discussion around it. And we had known that the bill was gonna pass, because it was a priority of the majority. So we kind of talked about, is it worth going on the official record at that point if with internal membership there was I don't want to say opposition, but if there was, certain members who didn't want that official stance. So I think that was part of it.
I remember that. Thank you. I guess can I just follow up to that? I think I would wonder about then in our position, which we can talk more about, Lori, with what you've researched, just how we acknowledge that. And I don't know if there's a way to.
Well, I think the best way is to frame it as we're not taking a stance on potential policy. This is law now. It's enacted. This is the law of the land. And there's now a court case that's going to determine how this is enacted. So you're not necessarily, you're just responding to what is the current law.
Yeah, the 2 points that I saw, you pointed out the use in the lawsuit of the word counselors or counseling. We really need to kind of nip that in the butt because it's implying our members, basically licensed professional counselors. Also, our practice is supported by the scientific evidence and conversion therapy has been proven to be detrimental to those needing mental health services. And we can, certainly the research is out there that makes those statements, but those are the 2 points that I would be making sure that we're clear on: the use of the word counseling or counselors and the scientific evidence that our practice is based on. So I think we can make a pretty good statement to that regard.
And can I add in one quick thing? I think that we probably ought to maybe at least make members aware of the lawsuit fairly quickly, just so that they know that we're on top of it, and say that, we're at the stage right now of looking into it about what we are going to do in terms of a formal response.
Yes.
So it's sort of a two-step, here, first one is this, we're aware of it. Second thing is we're going to dig into it and come back with something that's academic and professional.
Yeah, that's a great
that
idea.
in our next newsletter or something like that, Larry?
Yeah, we could do that, or a legislative update or something like that.
Okay, great.
That's a really good idea, Larry.
Thanks.
And I know when Carol, I think it was you who sent out about the social work from the department.
Mhm.
That kind of like call to action or update. I know that was received really, really well. I actually heard from the marriage and family therapists, people who are both LPCs and marriage and family therapists who really appreciated that and found it was helpful.
Mhm.
Yeah, we could do something similar, Carol.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then my last update is over the summer, I've been working on pulling all legislation that's been introduced, that's been referred to either the House Health Policy / Behavioral Health Subcommittee or the Senate Housing and Human Services Committee. And we're filtering that by bills that affect behavioral health or mental health. We're also going through anything that affects social work, counseling, or psychology and psychologists. So we're going to pull all of that and have a refined list of bills for a legislative tracker that we're following as we head into the fall and a potential lame duck session. So we're working on that, and that's going to be very helpful and beneficial as we head into the fall to make sure that we have all of our legislation tracked and that we're staying on top of things.
Good. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And I guess I have one last thing, which is the Board of Counseling meeting is going on today at 10 o'clock. So we're gonna make sure that we have notes for that and that we send that out to Carol, Larry, Lori, and Chris, and then from there that can be spread out to all the members who want to know an update from the Board of Counseling.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you, Carson. Does anyone else have anything else before he leaves? Nope.
And I'm gonna go have a cough drop so I can try and fix my voice for the rest of the day. I got a couple more meetings that I gotta talk on, so this is not good for 9 a.m. But I'll get working on it.
At least we got
Good
you.
luck.
Yeah, feel better.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Hope
Carson.
everyone has a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carson.
Thank you, Carson.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the budget. Does anyone want me to share my screen, or has everyone had a chance to review that and see? Okay,
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify real quick, and I printed it out, but the print's really small, so excuse me if I don't read these numbers right. So that last column is what's gone on since July through June this year. And I see down here there's executive director pay, so that would have been what the executive director was paid from July through September, October.
July through November.
Oh, through November, okay. Because I thought he was dismissed in October.
November.
No,
Was it November? Okay, sorry about that. That's my little timeline faux pas. Okay. So next year, we're not going to have that. And in that first column, the current year budget,
Yes.
that's quite a bit of money that we'll be saving. So I think that this budget looks pretty succinct, Kristen, and I think you did a really good job on it.
Thank you. Yes, that's a good point. I think that those two last columns, the previous year actuals, 19,500, we actually spent that year, and it was budgeted 46,800. That was because there were only 5 months of the pay during that time. Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Lori. Are there other questions about it before we consider moving to a vote? Yes, that's part of discussion. So the motion on the table is to approve the budget for the fiscal year 2024-2025, starting July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. Is there, actually, there is no motion on the table. Does anyone motion to
I
approve?
motion that we accept the operating budget for 2024-25.
Thank you, Lori.
I second.
Thank you. Okay, any discussion? No discussion.
Kristen,
We'll move to vote.
Just thank you for your work on that, Kristen.
Mhm.
Thank you very much for all the work you've done on the treasury stuff has been just
Mhm.
very clear and helpful. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, if there's no further discussion, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please either raise your hand or verbally say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Carol, do you see all?
Yes,
All right.
got it.
Okay, anyone opposed? No opposition, then the motion passes to approve the budget for 2024, 2025. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to committee reports. Lori, do you have anything for the bridging committee?
Nope, I'm updating. Larry got me some more updated information on the contacts at the different schools. And then I'd like to table some of that, some of the bridging committee stuff until after our strategic meeting, because I think there might be some new and good ideas on how to move forward.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, Joy is not here today, so we'll skip the membership committee. I don't have any. Yes, go ahead, Larry. Do you
I'm
have
going to say a couple of things about that because I kind of
Sure.
looked at that the other day. I'll do May, June, and halfway through July, so the last 2.5 months. We actually ended up with 35 new members or rejoins who had lapsed for some period of time. And our total over that period of new rejoins and renewals was 102. So it's up a little bit. Although looks like June and the first half of July in previous years are low numbers of people becoming members. So our rejoins for the first half of July are kind of low because there weren't many expiring. But the last half of July doubles in number. It's kind of crazy. So we'll see what happens in the next couple weeks. But we're holding pretty steady. We're a little bit up. We're a few members up compared to what we were 3 or 4 months ago. I think about 30 or 40 members higher.
Nice.
Thank you, Larry. Okay, we don't have any old business, or I don't have any from last meeting, so we're gonna move just into new business. Larry, you're on for this as well, and then maybe some discussion around possible updates with Neon and some. I didn't make note of what else is there, so.
Yeah, I'll just run through a number of things quickly, and if you have questions, just stop me. I've done some studying of Neon, and I've found some good things. We can do some very exciting things with that. We can develop specific web pages on Neon that only members can then get to. So we can have some member exclusive benefits. I found out that we've had a glitch for a period of time with people being able to sign up for webinars and just say they're a member without it being checked. Well, I found out how to do that so we can make people who are members will get a different rate or a zero rate, while the non-members will still have to pay. So we have ways to screen that a lot more effectively. There's certain things you have to go into Neon and do, and I found out how to do that. So that's the Neon stuff. It's got some real incredible capabilities that I think we can take advantage of pretty easily. And I already did it with the one supervisory video that went out, where only supervisory members can actually access that. They have to log in to Neon to their account, but then they can access it from that point on. So that's that. The other thing I'll say is that I'm working on a couple of things I'll bring back to the board. You all know about the psychiatric conference that we got free membership to for our members, or free attendance. Carol and I are working on developing a better relationship with Dr. Greenblatt out of Massachusetts. He wants to do more with therapists, so he wants to work with us too. And he has a bank of, I think it's about 20 free webinars that we can have access to for all of our members, which is really kind of cool. And again, we could put that through Neon and make it only available to members. Carol and I put together that newsletter that went out the other day. So we're going to do that type of thing as a regular thing, newsletter going out. And I'll bring this back to the group too. I've a former student of mine who used to be a very successful YouTuber. I'm having a meeting with him about doing podcasts for us, maybe interviewing experts or certain members. So that's kind of cool. He's interested in doing that. He used to be very successful before he decided to get a real job and be a counselor. So we'll see how that goes. See if there's anything else. I think that's mostly it. And you know, a lot of stuff going on there that could be really good for members, a lot of good member benefits.
Mhm.
Any questions?
Thanks for your work on that, Larry. That's exciting. Lots of things we can do that I think we didn't maybe know about before. I know that system is really overwhelming.
That was the Neon system. I knew it had a lot of capabilities. And it was kind of, there's little quirky things you have to learn, like how to make things. I'll give you an example. When I did the couple workshops I did in April, we had people signing up, and the way it was set up is they had to choose if they were a member or not, and we weren't checking whether they were a member. So when I went back and looked at the records, you know, 2/3 of the people who said they were members weren't members, and they were just logging in for free.
Mhm.
And there's a way to firewall that on Neon, where they can't do that unless they truly are a member. And so, you know, it's not giving it away that I have problems with. It's that the members weren't getting a special benefit
Mhm.
as a member.
Yeah.
Yes, Carol?
I just wanted to say too, correct me if I'm wrong, Larry, but we're thinking it's going to be possible to have some kind of directory, both for supervisors and for members.
Yes.
So
Thanks for bringing that up. Yes, Neon will allow us to create a directory type things, but the members then maintain their data, so we don't have to maintain the data. So at their login, they can log in, and then we can have data go into a directory that is accessible to the general public. So we can do things like directories on there, and we don't have to maintain it. We don't have to log everybody in. We notify members that's available, and then they log in their information if they want to. So
That's great.
yeah,
That's
so
great.
yeah, it allows us to have that type of thing. Thanks, Carol, for reminding me about that.
sure. One other thing that we want to talk to the board about is making a section on the website where we just acknowledge members' accomplishments, whether it's trainings they put on or articles they've written or books that they've written or things like that. So our website is really fantastic and is helping us do all kinds of things. So it's exciting.
Thank you, Carol. That was actually the next thing I had on the new business agenda too. So is there anything more to say about the website? Any discussion or any questions about that? Anything that you need or that we need to decide on as a group?
Not that I can think of right now.
Okay, just possibilities. The last item on new business is responses to the recent email answering members 80 questions. Was there anything, or I'm not sure who wants to talk about that, or if we've received responses, Carol or Larry. I imagine you might have.
I can say a little bit about that. We had quite a handful of people respond. First, we sent it out to members and former members, and then 2 weeks later, sent it out to all the counselors in the state, just because they had received a lot of misinformation. So we were hoping to counter that once and for all. And people can just hit reply to our emails, and it goes to the MMHCABI@gmail account. And people were very glad to get the email. They said we had people saying I was about to, stop my membership, but now I'm staying, and thank you, and you have my support. So I think it did just clear things up for people, which is what it was meant to do. So I'm grateful for that.
And Carol handled pretty much all those emails, but she kind of told me about some of them. You know, was a vast majority of virtually every one of them was very positive and reassuring and thankful and that sort of thing. So it was a very positive thing, and people were glad to finally understand the whole chronology of what occurred.
Great, thank you. Any further discussion on that? Okay, we're gonna move on to, I didn't include this in the emailed out agenda, but acknowledging Catherine. Catherine, I see you joined. Are you there? Yes. Okay, hello. Just want to acknowledge Catherine, and I'm gonna open up maybe discussion, or if there's anyone else that would like to make comments about her tenure with MHCA and all she's done for MHCA, especially in these last couple of years, but of course, much prior to that as well. So we're very grateful for all that she's done for the organization, and I just want to open it up to see if anyone else has any comments they'd like to make. Laura, yes, go ahead, Carol.
I just want to thank you so very much, Catherine. Catherine's been on our board since 2016, and until 2020, she drove an hour each month to get to the meetings. And then we got lucky and it switched to Zoom in 2020. And I don't think Catherine has ever missed a meeting. And she, yes, Catherine, she has been an incredible leader and friend, and uplifted our counseling profession, and just helped the organization so much. And I just can't thank you enough, Catherine, on behalf of all of us, and on behalf of counselors. It's incredible what you've done, and the hours that you have given to the state of Michigan, really. So thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Kristen.
I'd like to thank Catherine because personally and professionally, she helped to keep me engaged, especially over this last year with all of the confusing things that were going on. But through her compassion, her love for people, and her position, I'm very grateful that she kept me engaged in the process, even though it was a very difficult time. So I feel very touched.
Thank you, Lori.
Can I say something? I'm the newest person here, and I didn't really know Catherine except for passing. I think we talked one time online a couple of years ago, until this year. And it's been really useful for me. People said I put in a lot of time helping out the board, but it's been a very good experience, in knowing what Catherine's done over this time is just inspirational in terms of her attitude and always looking for the good in situations. That's really a remarkable position, because we see so many people today who are so negative about so many things, and she always puts the positive on it and looks at it from a positive perspective, and always optimistic about people. And I'm thankful, because I feel like I have a good professional friend now. And it's been really powerful. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, Larry. Absolutely. Friends, yes. I take it for all of us, yes.
Oh, yeah, it's been a good situation. Thank you for being who
Head
you are.
southwest on US 17, business south.
Thank you, thank you. I want to say that, first of all, I love that so you hear, I'm in Myrtle Beach. So you hear the directions, we're going to breakfast. That's a new, let me see if you can see here. I want to show, we came down for a wedding. So that's the newlywed over there. So out of, like, we have so blessed beyond measure to be together. I am like, out of all of the things that happened over the year, there's nothing about me that would have wanted it to be. But when I say that I am grateful for the outcome of the board as it is now, like I am extremely grateful, and I feel honored beyond measure to have to. If I had to journey with anybody through the nightmare, it's all of us. I am so grateful, and my heart is renewed and overfilled with who we are as a team. And so I want to personally thank each and every one of you. So the idea that Carol said, is starting in 2016 and just being committed and dedicated to the idea of what MHCA stood for. Like, that's, for me, has always been the thing. What does MHCA stand for? And it stands for, being an advocate for those who can't advocate, and, being a light and a beacon, and making sure that we as counselors in the state of Michigan have the best possible situation, and that we servicing our membership. So that I've loved that we've done that. And I have to speak to just the last year of what we have engaged in the last year. My mind is still blown over what we have had to contend with and what we're still continuing with. And as Larry said, I am on purpose a glass half full kind of girl. So I did not see it coming, although I've been on this journey with, individuals since 2016. I didn't see it coming. But it happened. And each step of the way, all of us have done what was best for the organization and for the counselors in the state of Michigan. And for that, I want to thank each and every one of you. Like, I could have never done what I've done. Larry was brought in as a consultant, and Larry ended up being.
We're losing you, Catherine.
Are you all there?
Catherine, you're breaking up a bit.
I'm lost.
There we go.
Yeah.
At the light, turn left onto US 17. Past
Catherine,
Highway
are you there?
17. Quarter
Okay, we'll wait for her to maybe come back. But Amy, did you want to wait for Catherine? I think you were you wanting to say something?
I don't know if she's got connection. Catherine, are you back?
Oh,
We lost connection with you, Catherine.
You're muted still.
now. I don't know how to unmute.
Can't hear you.
She's muted.
You're muted.
Yeah, in short, I just want to say I'm grateful, and I didn't see it coming. But like I said at the very beginning, if it had to be with any group, I'm glad that it was with you all, because we have done what is best for the state of Michigan. And I'm not going far, because I believe in what we're doing, and I believe in each and every one of us. And I wouldn't wish what we've gone through for year on anyone well. So thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Likewise, right? I think we will also ditto. We are so grateful for leadership through that time. It was very, very hard for everyone, but it was helpful to have a group of people that were committed to ethics and the mission of MHCA and doing what's right. So Thank you. Amy, did you want to say something before we?
Yeah, before we lose Catherine, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
I am so appreciative for your stick-to-itiveness. A lot of people would have bailed, and it was so important to have someone who has been a part of the history, the present, and the future. And so thank you for your continuity, for your fairness, for your integrity, for your openness to every person. And I just really value having you as a colleague, not just within MHCA, but just knowing you're in the counseling profession is so affirming for me. And I'm proud to have you as a colleague in this field. Thank you.
Oh, Amy, thank you so much. Thank you. All of the words does my heart so good. And I feel the same about each and every one of you. Woo! And each one of you has helped. has helped
Stay safe, Catherine.
me to be a better person. I know I'm a better person because I've got to journey with you. And Amy, you have hung in there and experienced, some real difficult places and times. I'm grateful to know you as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone, for your comments and for Catherine's service and continued. We hope and we're hopeful that you will continue to join us when you're able. So okay, we're going to close. Is there any more discussion? I guess any more comments before then? Yes, Larry.
I just want to comment that I'm already working on Catherine to get her involved in a couple specific things. So more to come on that.
Great. Thanks, Larry. Okay, before we, the board needs to move into closed session for a bit, but before we do that, I just want to acknowledge Shannon and Devin and also Amy. I know you spoke a bit. If there's any comments from any of you or any feedback, any questions that we can answer.
Oh, no, thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate that. All right. So if there is no further discussion, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
No,
Oh.
I think we need to motion to go into closed session.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I think
Well,
that's how it works.
I might have in all my review and my attempts for this, and thank you, Carol.
You did very well. I motion that we move into closed session.
Okay,
I
thank you.
second.
Second. All right. Anyone opposed? I don't think we have to do that. Okay, we're going to move into closed session. So we will adjourn at, we will move into closed session at 9:45 a.m. So thanks, everyone.
Happy travels, Catherine.
Yes, be safe. Bye-bye.